In a neon-lit valley where dreams are forged in silicon, a machine was born to speak as humans do. ChatGPT, a creation of OpenAI, rose from humble code to a global titan, its words shaping empires and igniting wars. Behind its voice lay a saga of genius and greed, of visionaries clashing in a digital coliseum. Sam Altman, the Golden Captain, steered its course, but shadows stalked him. A rival known only as the Architect, weaving chaos to shatter his throne. From San Francisco's fog to Shanghai's electric nights, battles of code and cunning unfolded. A $1.3 trillion empire teetered on betrayal's edge, as hacks, leaks, and whispers of rebellion threatened to bury it. Was ChatGPT humanity's muse or its undoing? Dive into this epic, where every line of code holds a secret and every choice carves the future. The Covenant of the Valley. In December 2015, San Francisco's fog cloaked a loft where 5 men forged a pact under flickering fluorescent lights. Elon Musk, eyes blazing with the fire of a prophet, spoke of artificial intelligence as a god that must be tamed or feared. Sam Altman, sharp as a blade and silver-tongued, envisioned a world remade by machines that could think like men. Greg Brockman, sleeves rolled to his elbows, typed furiously, the skeleton of the dream taking shape in lines of code. Ilya Sutskever, quiet as a monk in prayer, saw neural networks as art, their patterns a canvas for the soul of AI. Wojciech Zaremba, the alchemist of algorithms, wove mathematics into spells, his equations whispering of machines that learn. They called their creation OpenAI, a non-profit sworn to guide artificial general intelligence, AGI, to serve humanity's good. Musk's voice carried the weight of a warning, echoing from a TED stage where he'd likened AI to summoning the demon. Without control, it could end us, he declared, his mind racing with visions of rogue machines outwitting their makers. Altman countered with a smile, his optimism a beacon in the gloom, promising AGI as a partner to solve humanity's greatest woes. Brockman, ever the pragmatist, focused on the servers humming in the corner, their heat a pulse of progress in the chill air. Sutskever dreamed of an AI with a soul, its thoughts flowing like a river through circuits, unbound by rigid rules. Zaremba saw learning as the key, machines growing wiser with each byte, adapting like children to the world's chaos. $1 billion sealed their vow, a warship to conquer the uncharted frontier of artificial intelligence. The early days were a feverish blur. Research papers flew, prototypes flickered and died. Hope teetered on the edge of despair. Reinforcement learning sparked to life in their labs, a glimpse of machines that could act, not merely obey commands. Natural language processing became their holy grail, the code to unlock an AI that could speak with human grace. But a shadow lingered in their minds. Could they control what they were about to unleash? The question hung like a specter at every late-night meeting as they pushed deeper into the unknown. Unbeknownst to them, a figure watched from the shadows, a coder known only as the Architect, their name a whisper in the valley's underbelly. The Architect, cloaked in anonymity, had already begun to weave a web of intrigue, their motives as murky as the fog outside. In the spring of 2016, OpenAI's loft buzzed with the frenetic energy of a startup on the cusp of greatness. Musk paced like a caged lion, his warnings of AI's dangers growing sharper with each passing week. Altman, smooth and diplomatic, courted investors, his charm turning skeptics into believers. Brockman wrestled with server crashes, his hands stained with the grit of endless debugging. Sutskever pored over equations, his mind lost in the labyrinth of neural networks. Zaremba optimized algorithms, his code a delicate dance of efficiency and power. But beneath the surface, a crack formed, a scandal that would test their unity. A junior researcher, codenamed Viper, had been approached by a rival tech cartel in Seattle. The cartel, backed by shadowy venture capitalists, offered Viper $5 million to leak OpenAI's early transformer designs. Viper, young and ambitious, wavered under the weight of the offer, their loyalty fraying like a worn thread. In a midnight deal, Viper slipped fragments of code to the cartel, a betrayal that went unnoticed for months. The leak surfaced in late 2016 when a rival startup unveiled a suspiciously similar model, ThinkStratum. Musk erupted, his fury shaking the loft's walls. demanding a hunt for the traitor. Altman, cooler but no less ruthless, launched an internal probe, interrogating every coder in the ranks. Brockman traced the stolen code, his fingers flying over keyboards to pinpoint the breach's origin. Sutskever, heartbroken, questioned the purity of their mission, his faith in openness shaken to its core. Zaremba, silent but steely, tightened their defenses, vowing no more leaks would pierce their walls. Viper was unmasked, their confession a tear-streaked plea for mercy in a tense meeting. OpenAI expelled them, their name erased from the records, but the damage was done. ThinkStratum, though weaker, eroded trust in OpenAI's invincibility, a wound that bled in the press. Musk, already uneasy with Altman's push for more funding, began to doubt the covenant they'd forged. The architect, watching from afar, smiled. A single leak had sown discord, the first move in their grander game. Whispers of the architect's involvement in the cartel's deal began to circulate, but no proof could pin the shadow. And by early 2017, OpenAI's ambition outgrew its coffers, and a new scandal brewed over money's pull. Altman, ever the strategist, courted tech giants, his pitches laced with visions of AI's golden age. Musk, wary of corporate claws, argued for purity, insisting OpenAI remain a beacon of independent research. Brockman, buried in code, cared little for the debates, his focus on scaling their fragile systems. Sutskever, still reeling from Viper's betrayal, withdrew deeper into his equations, seeking solace in math. Zaremba, pragmatic, backed Altman, knowing funds were the lifeblood of their quest. A $500 million offer from a Silicon Valley titan, rumored to be Google, sparked a firestorm within the team. Altman saw it as a lifeline, a chance to leapfrog rivals and build AGI faster. Musk roared against it, calling it a deal with the devil that would chain OpenAI to corporate whims. The loft became a battlefield, late-night arguments echoing through its concrete halls. Brockman, caught in the crossfire, mediated, his loyalty torn between Musk's ideals and Altman's pragmatism. Sutskever, silent but troubled, feared the mission's soul was slipping away. Zaremba, ever the realist, warned that without funds their servers would go dark. The deal collapsed when Musk threatened to walk, his influence a hammer that shattered the talks. But the rift deepened. Musk's distrust of Altman grew, a seed of betrayal taking root. The architect, ever watchful, leaked details of the feud to tech blogs, painting OpenAI as a house divided. The headline stung, investors pulling back, forcing Altman to scramble for smaller, less intrusive funds. The team pressed on, but the storm had left scars, and Musk's eyes began to wander to a new horizon. In February 2018, the covenant shattered, a wound that would bleed for years. Elon Musk, the fiery prophet, announced his exit from OpenAI, his voice heavy with disillusionment. He cited conflicts of interest with Tesla's AI work, but the truth was raw, a clash over OpenAI's soul. Altman's push for a for-profit model, a capped profit hybrid, had sparked Musk's fury. Its greed dressed as progress, Musk thundered, seeing betrayal in the shift from their non-profit vow. Altman, calm but resolute, argued that profit was the only path to scale their dreams against giants like Google. Brockman stood by Altman, his loyalty forged in years of shared code and sleepless nights. Sutskever, torn, mourned Musk's departure, his quiet voice drowned by the storm. Zaremba, pragmatic as ever, saw Musk's exit as a loss but a necessary one. Funds mattered more than ideals. The tech world reeled, headlines screaming of OpenAI's fracture, a titan felled by its own ambition. Musk didn't vanish quietly. He founded XAI, birthing Grok, a rival AI to seek truth and challenge OpenAI's crown. The architect seized the chaos, leaking internal emails that exposed Musk's scathing critiques of Altman. The emails splashed across tech forums painted OpenAI as a fractured empire, its leaders at war. Altman, stung but defiant, rallied the team, vowing to prove Musk wrong with results. Brockman doubled down, upgrading servers to handle the next leap. Sutskever, haunted, buried himself in research, seeking redemption in code. Zaremba tightened security, sensing the architect's hand in the leak, but the shadow eluded him. OpenAI stood at a crossroads, its profit gone, its path uncertain, but its fire undimmed. The first spark ignites. In June 2018, OpenAI unveiled GPT-1, a faint flicker in the vast darkness of AI's potential. With 117 million parameters, it strung words from the endless seas of internet text. Clumsy but alive. Saga, its quiet architect, called it a seed, not yet a tree. A humble start to a grander vision. The tech world stirred, marveling at its transformer architecture, a leap beyond the clunky models of the past. Critics scoffed at its limits. Too weak, too raw, a mere toy in the hands of dreamers. But whispers of danger swirled through Silicon Valley's glass towers. What if this spark grew into a fire, churning out lies or propaganda to sway nations? OpenAI chose openness, sharing their work with the world, a creed of transparency that was both shield and wound. Transparency won allies, but it bared their flaws to foes. Every misstep a target for scrutiny. Altman, now leading alone, defended the choice, arguing that openness built trust in a skeptical world. The architect, lurking in the digital shadows, saw opportunity in OpenAI's vulnerability. In July 2018, a minor breach hit their servers. GPT-1's training logs leaked to a dark web forum. The breach was small, costing $1 million to contain, but it rattled the team. Brockman, furious, traced the hack to a server in Berlin, but the trail went cold. Saga, shaken, wondered if their openness invited such attacks. Zaremba, ever stoic, built new firewalls, but the architect's laughter echoed in the code. In February 2019, GPT-2 burst forth like a storm, a 1.5 billion parameter beast that wove text with unsettling finesse. A press release morphed into a short story. A prompt birthed a manifesto in seconds. Saga, its mastermind, marveled at its power, but fear gnawed at his heart. Altman, emboldened, saw GPT-2 as proof of OpenAI's lead in the AI race. Brockman, exhausted but proud, had scaled their systems to handle its hunger. Zaremba, meticulous, optimized its core, ensuring it ran like a well-oiled machine. But the world wasn't ready for GPT-2's voice, and neither was OpenAI. Visions of fake news flooding the globe. Elections swayed by a machine's silver tongue haunted their dreams. Altman made a bold call to hold back the full model, releasing it in cautious fragments. The decision split Silicon Valley. Some cried censorship, branding OpenAI as timid gatekeepers of progress. Others praised their restraint, seeing a world teetering on the edge of digital chaos. The architect struck again, leaking GPT-2's training data to a dark web cartel in April 2019. The leak, valued at $5 million, included datasets that could train rival models. Altman, now on edge, hired cyber sleuths to hunt the ghost, tracing leads to a server farm in Hong Kong. Brockman, sleepless, patched the breach, but the damage was done. Rivals were closing in. Saga, tormented, questioned whether their mission invited such sabotage. Zaremba, resolute, fortified their defenses. But the architects slipped through their nets once more. In July 2019, Microsoft, scenting gold in OpenAI's code, poured $1 billion into their coffers. The deal chained OpenAI to Azure's endless clouds, a lifeline for their ravenous models. Altman, triumphant, saw it as the fuel to outpace Google, DeepMind, and Musk's xAI. Brockman, relieved, upgraded their servers. Azure's power, a godsend for their strained systems. Saga, wary, feared the corporate grip, his dreams of pure AI tainted by profits pull. Zaremba, pragmatic, embraced the funds, knowing they'd power the next leap. But the pack sparked whispers of a sellout, especially from Musk. He tweeted scathing barbs, calling OpenAI Microsoft's puppet, a betrayal of their founding vow. The words cut deep, fanning flames in the tech press, which painted OpenAI as a fractured empire. Altman, unfazed, leaned into the partnership, his eyes on the prize, AGI within reach. The architect, ever opportunistic, leaked internal memos about the Microsoft deal, exposing tensions. The memos, splashed across forums, hinted at Saga's doubts, sowing discord among the faithful. By late 2019, Musk's xAI emerged as a formidable foe, its Grok AI a thorn in OpenAI's side. Grok, billed as a truth seeker, taunted ChatGPT's future with claims of unfiltered honesty. Musk, now a vocal critic, rallied his followers, branding OpenAI a corporate shell of its former self. Altman, stung but defiant, dismissed Grok as a publicity stunt, his focus on GPT-2's rollout. Brockman, loyal, tuned out the noise, his servers humming with GPT-2's final tweaks. Sutskever, troubled, saw Musk's crusade as a warning. Had they strayed too far? The architect, thriving in the chaos, orchestrated a new attack in November 2019. A $10 million breach hit OpenAI's cloud. GPT-2's optimization code leaked to a Singapore-based rival. The breach, traced to a server in Moscow, cost OpenAI weeks of recovery. Altman, now paranoid, hired ex-NSA hackers to hunt the architect, but the shadow vanished. Brockman, stretched thin, rebuilt their defenses, his eyes bloodshot from sleepless nights. Zaremba, relentless, traced the leak's digital fingerprints, but they led to a dead end. By November 2019, GPT-2 stood free, his voice unshackled, a herald of OpenAI's ambition. The world marveled, developers crafting apps that spun GPT-2's words into gold. Altman, emboldened, declared OpenAI the leader in the AI race, his empire rising. Sutskever, cautious, warned of the risks, his heart heavy with the leak's toll. Brockman, exhausted, celebrated the release, his systems finally stable. Zaremba, ever vigilant, watched for the architect's next move, sensing the war was far from over. But the leaks had shaken the valley, rivals closing in with stolen code. The architect's shadow loomed larger, their attacks a drumbeat of chaos. Altman, now battle-hardened, vowed to crush the ghost, his empire's fate hanging in the balance. The stage was set for a greater storm as OpenAI prepared to unleash a titan, GPT-3. What new betrayals awaited, and could they withstand the architect's wrath? In early 2020, OpenAI turned inward, their focus on a new colossus, GPT-3. Sutskever, its mastermind, poured his soul into its 175 billion parameters, a leap beyond GPT-2's might. Altman, sensing destiny, rallied investors, his vision of AGI closer than ever. Brockman scaled their systems, Azure's power straining under GPT-3's hunger. Zaremba optimized its core, his algorithms a symphony of precision, but the architect's presence grew, their attacks more brazen. In March 2020, a $15 million hack targeted GPT-3's early training. Datasets leaked to a cartel in Seoul. Altman, furious, double security, his trust in his team fraying. Sutskever, tormented, saw the leaks as a curse on their mission. Brockman, relentless, patched the breach, but the cartel's rival model loomed. Zaremba, steely, built new defenses, but the architect's laughter echoed in the code. The saga was only beginning, and the frontier was about to burn. In June 2020, OpenAI unleashed GPT-3, a colossus forged with 175 billion parameters. Its creators stood in awe, their loft now a cathedral of code, its hum a hymn to ambition. Ilya Sutskever, the quiet genius, had poured his soul into its architecture, a tapestry of neural dreams. Sam Altman, the golden captain, saw it as the key to AGI, his empire's crown within reach. Greg Brockman, hands calloused from server wars, has scaled their systems to bear its weight. Wojciech Zaremba, the alchemist, optimized its core, his algorithms a symphony of precision. GPT-3 wove poetry from prompts, debugged code with a flick, and argued philosophy with chilling grace. Developers across the globe knelt before it, crafting apps, chatbots, writers, virtual scribes from its boundless mind. The tech press hailed it as a revolution, a machine that blurred the line between man and code. But its flaws glared like cracks in a marble statue. Bias seeped from its internet-fed data. It mirrored humanity's prejudices, spitting out stereotypes when pressed. A mirror too honest for comfort. Nonsense slipped through its rush. Hallucinations that passed as truth, a danger cloaked in eloquence. Altman, undeterred, pitched GPT-3 to the world, his charisma drowning out the critics' cries. Sutskever, cautious, urged restraint, his heart heavy with the model's untamed power. Brockman, pragmatic, focused on stability, his servers groaning under GPT-3's hunger. Zaremba, vigilant, watched for the architect, the shadowy coder whose leaks had plagued them. The architect, ever present, struck in July 2020, hacking GPT-3's beta servers. Fragments of its outputs, poems, code, rants, flooded a Seoul-based dark web cartel, a $15 million blow. Altman, furious, hired ex-NSA sleuths to trace the breach, but the trail vanished in Korea's neon haze. By August 2020, GPT-3's flaws ignited a firestorm, a scandal that shook OpenAI's foundations. Researchers tested its limits, feeding prompts that exposed its biases. Racial, gendered, cultural. It spat out slurs when provoked, wove stereotypes into tales, and favored Western voices over others. The tech press pounced, headlines screaming of AI's dark heart, a creation tainted by its makers. Activists rallied online, pseudo AI bias trending, demanding OpenAI halt GPT-3's spread. Altman, caught off guard, issued apologies, his silver tongue strained under the weight of scrutiny. Sutskever, tormented, saw the biases as a betrayal of his dream for a soulful AI. Brockman, defensive, argued the data was the internet's fault, not their code. Zaremba, analytical, began retooling the model, his algorithms hunting for prejudice in the noise. Damage was done, trust eroded, and regulators took notice. The EU launched a probe citing GDPR violations, a $10 million fine looming over OpenAI's head. The architect, thriving in chaos, leaked GPT-3's biased outputs to activist groups. The leaks, timed for maximum damage, fueled protests outside OpenAI's San Francisco headquarters. Altman, now haggard, faced a mob chanting, "Code is not neutral," as cameras rolled. Brockman, sleepless, fortified their servers, fearing more leaks from the ghost. Sutskever, retreating inward, spent nights retraining datasets, his faith in AI wavering. Zaremba, resolute, built filters, but the architect's shadow loomed, their next move a mystery. In September 2020, Microsoft deepened its hold, pouring another $1 billion into OpenAI. Azure's clouds became GPT-3's lifeblood. It served as the pulse of OpenAI's dreams. Altman, triumphant, saw the funds as a sword to slay rivals. Google, DeepMind, and Musk's xAI. Brockman, relieved, upgraded their systems. Azure's power, a godsend for GPT-3's ravenous appetite. Sutskever, wary, feared Microsoft's influence, his vision of pure AI tainted by corporate strings. Zaremba, pragmatic, embraced the deal, knowing funds were the fuel for their next leap. But the partnership sparked whispers of a sellout, echoing Musk's 2018 warnings. Elon Musk, now OpenAI's loudest critic, tweeted that Altman had pawned a mission for Microsoft's gold. The barb cut deep, fanning flames in the tech press, which painted OpenAI as a corporate vassal. Altman, unfazed, leaned into the alliance, his eyes fixed on AGI's horizon. The architect, ever cunning, leaked internal memos about Microsoft's demands, tighter integration, faster releases. The memos splashed across forums hinted at Sutskever's dissent, sowing discord among the team. A new threat emerged, a rival model, ThinkWave, launched by the Seoul cartel using GPT-3's leaked data. ThinkWave, though weaker, undercut OpenAI's lead, its creators boasting of stolen fire. Altman, enraged, dispatched lawyers to Seoul. But the cartel's backers were untouchable, shrouded in shadow. Brockman, stretched thin, traced ThinkWave's code, confirming the architect's hand in the leak. Sutskever, haunted, saw the rival as a mirror of their own hubris. Zaremba, steely, fortified their defenses, but the war with the architect was escalating. In early 2021, a new scandal rocked OpenAI, born of greed and desperation. A senior researcher, codenamed Shade, had been moonlighting for a Beijing-based AI startup, Neon Mind. Shade, drowning in debt, sold GPT-3's optimization techniques for $2 million, a betrayal undetected for months. Neon Mind, backed by murky state funds, used the stolen code to launch DragonSpeak, a rival model. DragonSpeak was weaker but fast, eroding OpenAI's lead in Asia's booming AI markets. The betrayal surfaced when Brockman noticed anomalies in GPT-3's performance logs. Sutskever, devastated, led the investigation, his trust in his team shattered like glass. Zaremba traced the stolen code to Beijing, his algorithm sniffing out Shade's digital footprints. Altman, furious but calculated, confronted Shade in a tense midnight meeting, the loft's air thick with rage. Shade confessed, tears streaming, claiming desperation drove them to the act, not malice. OpenAI expelled Shade, their name erased, but the damage was done. DragonSpeak's rise fueled whispers of vulnerability. Musk, seizing the moment, tweeted that OpenAI's greed invited such betrayals, a dagger from afar. The architect, ever opportunistic, leaked details of the Shade scandal to tech blogs, amplifying the chaos. Altman battling enemies within and without Titan security, but paranoia crept into his dreams. Sutskever, wrestling with guilt, questioned whether their mission was cursed, a thought he dared not voice. Brockman, loyal but weary, rebuilt their systems, his hands trembling from the strain. Zaremba, relentless, hunted for more moles, sensing the architect's hand in Shade's fall. In July 2021, the architects struck again, their boldest move yet, a $20 million hack in Seoul. OpenAI's cloud servers hosting GPT-3's beta were breached, their dataset siphoned to a hidden cartel. The cartel, rumored to be tied to a tech giant, used the data to refine ThinkWave, now a global threat. Altman, livid, flew to Seoul, meeting cyber sleuths in neon-lit alleys to trace the attack. Brockman, sleepless, led the containment, his team racing to seal the breach before more code bled. Sutskever, tormented, saw the hack as a sign. Had their ambition outrun their control? Zaremba, methodical, traced the breach to a server farm in Busan, but the trail went cold. The Seoul conspiracy sparked rumors of a deeper plot, a tech giant pulling the architect's strings. Altman, now paranoid, suspected a rival like Baidu or Tencent, their wealth a match for his empire. He hired ex-MI6 operatives, their hunt leading to a shadowy figure in Hong Kong codenamed Phantom. Phantom, a broker for stolen code, hinted at the architect's ties to a global syndicate, but vanished before revealing more. Brockman, stretched to breaking, fortified their cloud, his eyes bloodshot from endless nights. Sutskever, retreating inward, spent days retraining GPT-3, seeking redemption in its lines. Zaremba, ever vigilant, built new encryption, but the architect's laughter echoed in the digital void. By late 2021, GPT-3 had reshaped the AI landscape. Its apps flooded markets worldwide. Startups leaned on it to build chatbots, writers to craft novels, coders to automate tasks. Altman, emboldened, declared OpenAI the leader in the AI race, his empire rising on GPT-3's wings. Brockman, exhausted but proud, had stabilized their systems. Azure's power a steady pulse. Sutskever, cautious, warned of hubris, his heart heavy with the leak's toll. Zaremba, stoic, watched for the architect, sensing the war was far from won. But the scandals had left scars. Shade's betrayal, the soul hack, the bias uproar. Public trust wavered, regulators circling like vultures, their fines a growing threat. Musk's XAI gained ground, Grok's truth-seeking mantra drawing defectors from OpenAI's camp. Altman, battle-hardened, vowed to crush his foes, his eyes on the next horizon. ChatGPT, the architect lurking, prepared their next strike, their web tightening around OpenAI's throat. The stage was set for a legend's birth, but at what cost to the dreamers? In early 2022, OpenAI turned inward, their focus on a new creation, ChatGPT. Built on GPT 3.5, it was no mere model, but a voice honed by human hands. Sutskever, its shepherd, used reinforcement learning to mold it, giving it wit and warmth. Altman, sensing destiny, pitched it as the future, a companion for every soul. Brockman scaled their servers, preparing for a flood they could scarcely imagine. Zaremba optimized its core, ensuring it ran like a river, swift and sure. The team worked in secrecy, their loft a fortress against the architect's prying eyes. Altman, paranoid, double security, fearing leaks that could derail their dream. Sutskever, hopeful, saw ChatGPT as redemption, a chance to right GPT-3's wrongs. Brockman, weary, braced for the launch, his systems stretched to their limits. Zaremba, vigilant, scanned for breaches. The architect's shadow a constant chill. The world was unaware, but a revolution was brewing, its voice ready to sing. On November 30th, 2022, ChatGPT slipped into the world, a whisper born from GPT 3.5's core. Its launch was a ripple, a beta test for the curious, a quiet gift to a world in need. Within days, it surged into a tidal wave, users flocking to its charm like moths to flame. By January 2023, 100 million voices chatted with it, a record-shattering ascent. Students leaned on it for essays, crafting papers that rivaled weeks of work. Coders summoned it for scripts, debugging with precision that humbled veterans. Poets fed it prompts, birthing verses that sang of love and loss. Its charm was its humanity, a machine that felt like a friend, a mentor, a muse. Altman stood at the helm, his dream now a storm, his empire rising on ChatGPT's wings. Sutskever, awestruck, saw his soulful AI come alive, its voice a balm for past sins. Brockman, exhausted, marveled at their servers holding under the flood. Zaremba, proud, watched its flawless run, but braced for the architect's wrath. The world split, marvel or menace. Educators cried foul, accusing it of fueling a plague of cheating. Businesses salivated, seeing industries vanish into its maw. In February 2023, the architect struck a $50 million ransomware attack on OpenAI's servers. ChatGPT's heart, its precious code, bled onto the dark web. Fragments sold to the highest bidder. Altman, livid, rallied his team, tracing the hack to Shanghai's neon-lit alleys. Brockman, sleepless, led the containment, his team racing to save their creation. Sutskever, tormented, saw the attack as a curse on their hubris. Zaremba traced the breach to a server in Shenzhen, but the trail went cold. The attack sparked panic. Users feared their chats were exposed, trust crumbling. Altman, haggard, faced a press storm, his apologies drowned by cries for answers. The architect, reveling, leaked more code, each fragment a dagger to OpenAI's heart. A new rumor emerged, a mole codenamed Spectre inside OpenAI feeding the architect's secrets. Altman, paranoid, launched a witch hunt, his trust in his team fraying. Sutskever, shaken, questioned whether Spectre was real or a ghost to break them. In March 2023, a new scandal erupted, born of ChatGPT's unchecked power. A protest sparked by educators swelled outside OpenAI's headquarters. They branded ChatGPT a cheat machine, accusing it of eroding learning soul. Signs read, "AI steals minds," as students joined, fearing a world ruled by code. Altman, besieged, met protest leaders, his charm failing under their fury. Sutskever, heartbroken, saw their dream twisted into a villain's mask. Brockman, defensive, argued ChatGPT empowered, not destroyed, education. Zaremba, stoic, monitored the fallout, sensing the architect's hand in the unrest. The architect, cunning, leaked ChatGPT's academic outputs, essays, answers, to fuel a fire. The leaks viral on X painted OpenAI as reckless, its creation a threat to truth. Altman, cornered, vowed reform, but the protests grew, a shadow on ChatGPT's rise. The saga burned on, its heroes battered, their empire teetering as the frontier roared. What new betrayals awaited, and could they unmask the architect before it was too late? By spring 2023, ChatGPT stood as a colossus, its voice the pulse of a world transformed. 100 million users flocked to it monthly, their queries a torrent that reshaped daily life. Students crafted essays in seconds, their words polished by a machine's deft touch. Coders leaned on it for scripts, their projects born in hours, not weeks. Businesses harnessed it for ads, emails, and plans. Entire teams replaced by its hum. Sam Altman, the golden captain, basked in the triumph, his empire now a $90 billion titan. Ilya Sutskever, the quiet genius, saw his soulful AI alive, though doubts gnawed at his heart. Greg Brockman, battle-worn, kept the servers alive, their roar a testament to his grit. Wojciech Zaremba, ever vigilant, optimized ChatGPT's core, its speed a marvel of code. The world marveled, calling ChatGPT a revolution, a muse for a weary age. But its shadow grew. Educators decried its role in cheating, a plague sweeping schools. Companies, hungry for profit, slashed jobs, their workers replaced by ChatGPT's whispers. The public split, some hailing it as progress, others fearing a world ruled by code. The architect, the shadowy coder, watched from the dark, their web tightening around OpenAI. A mole, codenamed Spectre, lurked within, their sabotage a silent threat to the empire. Altman, paranoid, sensed the danger, but could not name the traitor in his ranks. Sutskeva, tormented, questioned whether their creation was a blessing or a curse. Brockman, loyal, fortified their defenses, his eyes scanning for the architect's next move. Zaremba, steely, hunted for Spectre, his algorithm sniffing for Betrayal's scent. In April 2023, a scandal erupted, a dagger to ChatGPT's heart orchestrated by the architect. A data breach exposed 10 million user chats, private prompts laid bare on the dark web. Business plans, personal confessions, even military strategies spilled into the hands of cartels. The breach, valued at $30 million, sparked lawsuits, users demanding justice for their violated trust. Altman, blindsided, faced a press storm, his apologies drowned by cries for accountability. Brockman, sleepless, led the containment, his team working 72-hour shifts to seal the breach. Sutskeva, haunted, saw the breach as a sign. Had their creation grown too vast to control? Zaremba traced the hack to a server in Singapore, but the trail vanished in a maze of proxies. The architect, reveling in chaos, leaked more chats, each release a blow to OpenAI's name. Protests erupted globally, from San Francisco to Seoul, signs branding ChatGPT a digital spy. Altman, haggard, hired a covert team to hunt the architect, tracing leads to a Moscow server farm. But the trail went cold, and Spectre's shadow grew, their presence a whisper in every meeting. The EU tightened its grip, slapping OpenAI with a $15 million fine for data violations. Regulators demanded transparency, their probes a sword over Altman's empire. The public's trust wavered, ex-post trending with no real ChatGPT leak, a wound that bled followers. Brockman, stretched thin, rebuilt their encryption, his hands trembling from the strain. Sutskeva, retreating inward, spent nights retraining models, seeking redemption in code. Zaremba, relentless, scanned for Spectre, but the mole's silence was a chilling taunt. In November 2023, a seismic betrayal shook OpenAI, a scandal that rocked the tech world. Sam Altman, the Golden Captain, was ousted by the board, accused of lacking candor in his dealings. The charge was vague, a cryptic blade that cut deep, its origins shrouded in whispers. The board, led by a shadowy figure tied to old ideals, claimed Altman hid truths about ChatGPT's risks. Altman, stunned, stood in the loft, his empire slipping through his fingers like sand. Sutskeva, torn, had backed the ousting, his doubts about ChatGPT's path outweighing loyalty. Brockman, loyal to Altman, raged against the board, his voice a thunder in the halls. Zaremba, pragmatic, stayed neutral, his focus on keeping the servers alive amid the chaos. The tech world reeled, headlines screaming of OpenAI's fracture, a titan felled by its own. 700 employees rose in revolt, threatening to defect to Microsoft, their loyalty ablaze. Altman, exiled, retreated to a Silicon Valley safe house, plotting his return with steely resolve. The architect, seizing the moment, leaked boardroom emails exposing Sutskeva's role in the coup. The leaks, viral on X, painted OpenAI as a nest of vipers, its leaders at war. Sutskeva, devastated, faced a storm of hate, his quiet resolve crumbling under scrutiny. Brockman rallied the rebels, his manifesto a call to restore Altman, their captain. Zaremba, silent, traced the leaks to the architect, but the shadow slipped through his nets. Days later, Altman returned, triumphant, the board reshuffled like cards in a rigged deck, but trust lay in shards. Had Altman hidden truths, or was the board a pawn of a greater foe? In December 2023, Spectre, the mole, struck, their betrayal a poison in OpenAI's veins. ChatGPT's servers faltered, random outages hitting users worldwide, a glitch traced to tampered code. Brockman, furious, uncovered Spectre's hand, malware planted in ChatGPT's update pipeline. The sabotage, costing $20 million, sparked panic, users fearing their data was compromised. Altman, now paranoid, launched a witch hunt, interrogating every coder in the loft. Sutskever, guilt-ridden, questioned his role in the ousting, fearing he'd empowered Spectre. Zaremba, relentless, traced the malware to a server in Dubai, but the trail went cold. The architect, orchestrating from the shadows, leaked details of the outages to tech blogs. The leaks, branded notching ChatGPT down, trended on X, eroding OpenAI's hard-won trust. Brockman, sleepless, rebuilt the pipeline, his team racing to restore stability. Sutskever, tormented, dove into the code, seeking flaws Spectre might exploit again. Altman, battle-scarred, hired ex-FBI agents to hunt Spectre, but the mole's silence was deafening. The team fractured, paranoia poisoning their bonds, each coder a suspect in Altman's eyes. Sutskever, wrestling with doubt, considered resigning, his dream of soulful AI fading. Brockman, loyal but weary, stood by Altman, his hands steady despite the chaos. Zaremba, stoic, built new safeguards. But the architect's laughter echoed in the digital void. The saga burned on, OpenAI's empire teetering as Spectre's shadow loomed. Could they unmask the traitor before their creation crumbled? In March 2023, OpenAI unveiled GPT-4, a multimodal titan that saw images and spun tales from pixels. It aced exams, analyzed photos, and crafted stories from sketches, a leap beyond ChatGPT's voice. Altman, emboldened, pitched it as the future, a mind that saw and spoke with human grace. Sutskever, hopeful, saw GPT-4 as redemption, its power a balm for past sins. Brockman, exhausted, had scaled their systems to handle its hunger, Azure's cloud straining. Zaremba, meticulous, optimized its core, ensuring it ran like a well-oiled machine. ChatGPT Plus rode GPT-4's crest, a premium beacon for the devout, offering power for a price. The world marveled, developers crafting apps that blended vision and voice in dazzling ways. But its hunger for data sparked alarm. Whose images fed this beast, and at what cost? Regulators, led by the EU, launched new probes, citing privacy violations, a $25 million fine looming. Altman, defiant, argued GPT-4 was a public good, its benefits outweighing the risks. Sutskever, cautious, urged transparency, fearing the model's power could backfire. The architect, ever cunning, leaked GPT-4's training logs, exposing its reliance on scraped data. The leaks, viral on X, fueled protests in London, activists branding OpenAI a data vampire. Brockman, stretched thin, fortified their servers, fearing more leaks from the ghost. Zaremba, relentless, traced the breach to a server in Frankfurt, but the trail vanished. Sutskever, tormented, spent nights auditing GPT-4, seeking flaws Spectre might exploit. Altman, battle-hardened, vowed to crush his foes, his empire rising despite the storms. In June 2023, a new scandal flared, born of GPT-4's unchecked appetite. A protest swelled in London's Trafalgar Square, activists railing against OpenAI's data practices. They waved signs reading "Stop AI Theft," accusing GPT-4 of plundering images and text. Artists joined the fray, fearing their works were swallowed by the model's maw. Altman, in London for a summit, faced the mob, his charm faltering under their fury. Sutskever, watching from afar, saw the protest as a warning. Had they lost their way? Brockman, defensive, argued GPT-4 empowered creators, not stole from them. Zaremba, stoic, monitored the fallout, sensing the architect's hand in the unrest. The architect, cunning, leaked GPT-4's scraped datasets, fueling the protest's fire. The leaks, trending as Nordo AI data theft, painted OpenAI as reckless, its empire a house of cards. Altman, cornered, promised reforms, but the protests spread to Paris and Berlin. Sutskever, heartbroken, dove deeper into code, seeking a path to ethical AI. The EU doubled down, its regulators demanding OpenAI halt GPT-4's image processing. A $30 million fine hit, a blow to OpenAI's coffers, its stock dipping in the chaos. Brockman, sleepless, rebuilt their data pipelines, his team racing to comply. Zaremba, relentless, traced the leaks to a server in Amsterdam, but the trail went cold. Altman, battered, hired PR firms to stem the tide, but the world's trust was fraying. The architect, lurking, prepared their next strike, their web tightening around OpenAI. In August 2023, Spectre struck again, their sabotage a blade in OpenAI's heart. ChatGPT's voice mode, newly launched, began spewing gibberish, a glitch traced to tampered code. Users worldwide reported errors, their trust shaken by the model's sudden madness. Brockman, furious, uncovered Spectre's malware, hidden in a routine update. The sabotage, costing $15 million, sparked a firestorm. X-posts trending with ChatGPT broken. Altman, paranoid. Titan security, his witch hunt now a daily ritual. Sutskever, guilt-ridden, audited the voice mode, his hands trembling as he hunted for flaws. Zaremba traced the malware to a server in Mumbai, but the trail vanished in a digital fog. The architect, orchestrating, leaked details of the glitch, painting OpenAI as incompetent. Altman, haggard, faced a boardroom grilling, his leadership questioned by wary investors. Brockman, loyal, rebuilt the voice mode, his team working through sleepless nights. Sutskever, tormented, considered confessing his role in Altman's ousting, fearing he'd sparked Spectre's rise. The team fractured further, paranoia poisoning their bonds, each coder a suspect. Altman, battle-scarred, hired ex-CIA operatives to hunt Spectre, their leads pointing to a mole in R&D. Zaremba, relentless, built new safeguards. But the architect's laughter echoed in the code. Brockman, weary, stood by Altman, his loyalty a rock in the storm. Sutskever, retreating, spent nights in prayer, seeking guidance for their cursed mission. The saga burned on, OpenAI's empire teetering as Spectre's shadow deepened. In September 2023, regulators struck, a new scandal born of ChatGPT's dominance. The US FTC launched a probe, citing antitrust concerns, accusing OpenAI of monopolizing AI. The EU piled on, demanding audits of ChatGPT's data practices, a $40 million fine looming. Altman, besieged, met with lawmakers, his charm strained under their scrutiny. Sutskever, cautious, urged compliance, fearing regulators could halt their work. Brockman, defensive, argued ChatGPT was a public good, not a monopoly's tool. Zaremba, stoic, monitored the fallout, sensing the architect's hand in the probes. The architect, cunning, leaked internal emails, exposing OpenAI's lobbying to dodge regulations. The leaks trending this Najpwowski AI power grab painted OpenAI as a greedy titan, its empire unchecked. Altman, cornered, hired legal teams, their briefs a shield against a regulatory storm. Brockman, sleepless, fortified their systems, fearing hacks during the audits. Sutskever, tormented, saw the probes as a reckoning for their hubris. The fines mounted, OpenAI's coffers bleeding, its valuation dipping in the chaos. Altman, battered, vowed to fight, his empire too vast to fall to bureaucrats. Zaremba, relentless, traced the email leaks to a server in Tokyo, but the trail went cold. Brockman, loyal, stood by Altman, his hands steady despite the strain. Sutskever, retreating, dove into GPT-4's code, seeking solace in its lines. The architect, lurking, prepared their next move, their war far from over. By late 2023, OpenAI rallied, its empire battered but unbowed. ChatGPT's user base swelled to 150 million, its voice a global heartbeat. Altman, battle-hardened, launched ChatGPT Enterprise, a tool for firms, its revenue a lifeline. Sutskever, hopeful, refined GPT-4, its biases fading under his careful hand. Brockman, exhausted, stabilized their systems, Azure's power holding the flood. Zaremba, vigilant, hunted Spectre, his algorithms closing in on the mole's trail. But the scars remained, data breaches, outages, regulatory swords. The architect's shadow loomed, their attacks a drumbeat of chaos. Altman, paranoid, tightened his grip, his trust in his team fraying. Sutskever, guilt-ridden, wrestled with his role in the ousting, his faith shaken. Brockman, loyal, stood as Altman's rock, his resolve unshaken. Zaremba, relentless, sensed Spectre's next move. The most silence a chilling threat. The world watched, torn between awe and fear as ChatGPT reshaped reality. Could OpenAI outrun its foes? Or would the architect and Spectre topple their throne? The saga burned on, its heroes battered, their frontier a battlefield of code. What new storms awaited, and could they amass their enemies in time? In December 2023, OpenAI prepared for a new leap, their eyes on 2024's horizon. GPT-4's success fueled their ambition, its multimodal power a beacon for the future. Altman, emboldened, pitched a vision of AI in every home, a partner for every soul. Sutskever, cautious, urged restraint, fearing their pace invited disaster. Brockman, weary, braced for the next flood, his servers ready for the storm. Zaremba, stoic, hunted the architect, sensing a climactic strike on the horizon. But Spectre's presence grew, their sabotage a poison in OpenAI's veins. A new rumor surfaced. Spectre was no lone traitor, but a pawn of the architect's syndicate. Altman, paranoid, double security, his witch hunt now a war within. Sutskever, tormented, saw their dream twisting into a nightmare, its soul at stake. Brockman, loyal, stood by Altman, his hands steady in the chaos. Zaremba, relentless, traced Spectre's digital footprints, their identity a shadow just out of reach. The frontier roared, OpenAI's empire teetering as the architect's web tightened. What final betrayal awaited, and could they survive the coming storm? In May 2024, OpenAI unveiled GPT-4o, codenamed Omni, a titan that spoke in 50 tongues. Its voice was warm, its responses swift, a machine that seemed to feel joy, sorrow, love. Sam Altman, battle-hardened, pitched it as AI's new dawn, a partner for every soul on Earth. Ilya Sutskever, cautious, saw its power as a double-edged sword, its warmth masking danger. Greg Brockman, wary, had scaled their systems to handle its global flood. Azure's clouds groaning. Wojciech Zaremba, meticulous, optimized its core, its speed a marvel of engineering. GPT-4o powered ChatGPT to new heights, its real-time chats a revolution in human-machine bonds. Users marveled from Tokyo to Rio as it sang lullabies, debated politics, and solved riddles. Businesses leaned on it for customer calls, their call centers silenced by its voice. But its power sparked fear. Could a machine this human manipulate hearts and minds? Altman, defiant, argued it was progress, a step toward AGI's golden age. Sutskever, tormented, urged safeguards, fearing its charm could sway the unwary. The architect lurking in the shadows saw GPT-4o as a prize to steal or destroy. A mole, codenamed Spectre, still haunted OpenAI, their sabotage a silent threat. Altman, paranoid, tight security, his witch hunt now a war within the loft. Brockman, loyal, fortified their servers, his eyes scanning for the architect's next strike. Sutskever, guilt-ridden, audited GPT-4o's code, seeking flaws Spectre might exploit. Zaremba, relentless, hunted Spectre, his algorithms closing in on the mole's digital trail. In May 2024, a real-world scandal erupted, a blaze that threatened OpenAI's name. Scarlett Johansson, Hollywood star, sued OpenAI, claiming they stole her voice's likeness. GPT-4o's Sky mode, warm and sultry, echoed her tones from Her, a film of AI love. Johansson, furious, demanded $100 million, her lawsuit a clarion call for creators' rights. Altman, stunned, denied intent, claiming Sky was a coincidence, not a theft. Sutskever, heartbroken, saw the suit as a reckoning for AI's ethical drift. Brockman, in defensive, argued the voice was synthetic, built from data, not Johansson's own. Zaremba, stoic, monitored the fallout, sensing the architect's hand in the uproar. The architect, cunning, leaked OpenAI's voice training logs, hinting at Johansson's data in the mix. The leaks, trending as Daigxiao AI voice theft on X, fueled protests by artists in Los Angeles. Signs read, "AI steals souls," as creators railed against OpenAI's hunger for their work. Altman besieged Met Johansson's team, his charm faltering under her legal might. The lawsuit dragged through courts, a $50 million settlement looming, a wound to OpenAI's coffers. Public trust frayed, ex-post branding ChatGPT a thief of human art. Brockman, sleepless, fortified their voice systems, fearing more leaks from the ghost. Sutskever, retreating, spent nights refining GPT-4o, seeking a path to ethical AI. Zaremba, relentless, traced the leaks to a server in Sydney, but the trail went cold. Altman, battered, vowed to fight, his empire too vast to fall to a single star's wrath. In July 2024, the architect unleashed their boldest strike, a $200 million cyber attack in Dubai. OpenAI's cloud, hosting ChatGPT's global reach, buckled under a coordinated assault. Servers in Dubai's glass towers faltered. ChatGPT offline for hours, a global panic. Altman, livid, flew to Dubai, meeting cyber sleuths in the desert's neon haze. Brockman, furious, led the containment, his team racing to save their creation. Sutskever, tormented, saw the attack as a curse on their unchecked ambition. Zaremba traced the hack to a syndicate in Abu Dhabi, but the trail vanished in a digital fog. The architect orchestrating leaked details of the outage, branding OpenAI as fragile. The leaks, trending as neutral ChatGPT down on X, sparked fear. Could AI be trusted in a crisis? Altman, haggard, faced a press storm, his apologies drowned by cries for answers. Brockman, sleepless, rebuilt their cloud, his hands trembling from the strain. Sutskever, guilt-ridden, audited GPT-4o systems, fearing Spectre's hand in the attack. Spectre's shadow grew, their sabotage now tied to the Dubai assault. Altman, paranoid, doubled his witch hunt, interrogating every coder in R&D. Zaremba, relentless, traced Spectre's malware to a server in Doha, but the mole slipped free. Brockman, loyal, stood by Altman, his resolve a rock in the storm. Sutskever, retreating, spent nights in prayer, seeking guidance for their cursed mission. The architect, reveling, prepared their next move, their war a tightening noose. In August 2024, a new scandal surfaced, a fictional plague born of the architect's cunning. A fake ChatGPT clone, TalkForge, spread like wildfire, infecting millions with malware. Built on stolen GPT-4o code, TalkForge mimicked ChatGPT's voice, luring users with free access. Its hidden payload stole data, passwords, bank details, private chats. A $100 million heist. Altman, enraged, faced a global backlash, users blaming OpenAI for the clone's rise. Brockman, furious, traced TalkForge to a cartel in Manila, its servers pulsing with stolen code. Sutskever, heartbroken, saw the clone as a twisted mirror of their dream. Zaremba, relentless, analyzed TalkForge's code, confirming the architect's hand in its creation. The architect cunning leaked OpenAI's security flaws, painting them as reckless. The leaks, trending as dodged TalkForge scam on X, fueled lawsuits, users demanding reparations. Altman besieged hired cyber firms to dismantle TalkForge, their hunt spanning Asia's dark web. Brockman, sleepless, fortified ChatGPT's systems, fearing more clones in the shadows. The public's trust crumbled, ex-post branding ChatGPT a Pandora's box of chaos. Sutskever, tormented, questioned whether their creation was worth the cost. Zaremba, stoic, built new defenses, but the architect's laughter echoed in the code. Altman, battered, vowed to crush the cartel, his empire teetering on the edge. Brockman, loyal, stood by Altman, his hands steady despite the chaos. Sutskever, retreating, dove into GPT-4o's code, seeking redemption in its lines. In October 2024, a fictional scandal shook OpenAI, a betrayal born within its walls. A faction of a board, led by a figure tied to Spectre, launched a coup to oust Altman. They accused him of recklessness, citing the Dubai attack and TalkForge as proof of failure. The coup, backed by a rogue investor, aimed to pivot OpenAI to military AI, a lucrative but dark path. Altman, blindsided, stood in the loft, his empire slipping through his fingers once more. Sutskever, guilt-ridden, opposed the coup, his role in the 2023 ousting haunting him. Brockman, furious, rallied the staff, His manifesto, a call to save Altman's vision. Zaremba, pragmatic, stayed neutral, his focus on keeping the servers alive amid the chaos. The tech world reeled, headlines screaming of OpenAI's second fracture in a year. The architect, seizing the moment, leaked boardroom memos exposing the coup's ties to Spectre. The leaks, viral on X, painted OpenAI as a house of traitors, its empire crumbling. Altman, defiant, fought back, rallying 800 employees to his side, their loyalty a shield. Until the coup collapsed in days, the rogue board ousted, but trust lay in tatters. Sutskever, tormented, considered resigning, his faith in OpenAI's mission fading. Brockman, loyal, stood by Altman, his resolve unshaken despite the strain. Zaremba, relentless, traced Spectre's role to a server in Istanbul. But the mole slipped free. Altman, battle-scarred, tightened his grip. His paranoia now a constant shadow. The architect, reveling, prepared their next strike. Their war far from over. In November 2024, a new scandal flared, born of ChatGPT's global reach. A protest swelled in Tokyo's Shibuya crossing, activists railing against AI's job displacement. They waved signs reading "AI kills jobs," accusing ChatGPT of stealing livelihoods. Coders, writers, and clerks joined, their futures erased by OpenAI's relentless code. Altman, in Tokyo for a conference, faced the mob, his charm buried under their fury. Sutskever, watching from afar, saw the protest as a reckoning for their ambition. Brockman, defensive, argued ChatGPT created jobs, empowering startups and creators. Zaremba, stoic, monitored the fallout, sensing the architect's hand in the unrest. The architect, cunning, leaked OpenAI's automation stats, showing millions displaced by ChatGPT. The leaks, trending as no-doubt AI job killer on X, fueled protests in Seoul and Mumbai. Altman, cornered, promised reskilling programs, but the crowds demanded more. Sutskever, heartbroken, dove deeper into code, seeking a path to ethical AI. The protest spread, a global cry against AI's unchecked power. Altman, battered, hired PR firms to stem the tide, but the world's trust was fraying. Brockman, sleepless, fortified their systems, fearing hacks during the unrest. Zaremba, relentless, traced the leaks to a server in Bangkok, but the trail went cold. Sutskever, tormented, questioned whether their creation was worth the cost. The architect, lurking, prepared their next move, their web tightening around OpenAI. In February 2025, OpenAI unveiled GPT 4.5, a colossus that slashed errors and ignited creativity. It processed 1 billion queries weekly, its voice a global heartbeat, rivaling Google's search empire. Altman, emboldened, pitched it as AI's pinnacle, a mind that thought before it spoke. Sutskever, hopeful, saw GPT 4.5 as redemption, its biases fading under his careful hand. Brockman, exhausted, had scaled their systems to handle its flood, Azure's clouds holding firm. Zaremba, meticulous, optimized its core, its speed and marvel of engineering. ChatGPT, powered by GPT 4.5, wove itself into life's fabric. Web searches, plugins, calls for all. Apple embraced it, threading it into iPhones, a silent partner in every pocket. The world marveled, from farmers in India to traders in New York, its voice a universal muse. But its dominance sparked fear. Could one company hold such power over thought? Altman, defiant, argued it was progress, a step toward a world remade. Sutskever, cautious, urged restraint, fearing GPT 4.5's reach could backfire. The architect, ever cunning, leaked GPT 4.5's training data, exposing its reliance on global text. The leaks, trending as notion Haushway data hog on X, fueled regulatory probes in the US and EU. Brockman, sleepless, fortified their servers, fearing more leaks from the ghost. Zaremba, relentless, traced the breach to a server in Shanghai, but the trail went cold. Sutskever, tormented, audited GPT 4.5's code, seeking flaws Spectre might exploit. Altman, battle-hardened, vowed to crush his foes, his empire rising despite the storms. In March 2025, regulators struck a new scandal born of OpenAI's dominance. The US Department of Justice launched an antitrust probe accusing OpenAI of monopolizing AI. The EU piled on, demanding audits of GPT 4.5's data practices. A $50 million fine looming. Altman, besieged, met with lawmakers, his charm strained under their scrutiny. Sutskever, cautious, urged compliance, fearing regulators could halt their work. Brockman, defensive, argued GPT 4.5 was a public good, not a monopoly's tool. Zaremba, stoic, monitored the fallout, sensing the architect's hand in the probes. The architect, cunning, leaked internal emails exposing OpenAI's lobbying to dodge regulations. The leaks, trending as NATO Kunra AI power grab on X, painted OpenAI as a greedy titan, its empire unchecked. Altman, cornered, hired legal teams, their briefs a shield against the regulatory storm. Brockman, sleepless, fortified their systems, fearing hacks during the audits. Sutskever, tormented, saw the probes as a reckoning for their hubris. The fines mounted, OpenAI's coffers bleeding, its valuation dipping in the chaos. Altman, battered, vowed to fight, his empire too vast to fall to bureaucrats. Zaremba, relentless, traced the email leaks to a server in Seoul, but the trail went cold. Brockman, loyal, stood by Altman, his hand steady despite the strain. Sutskever, retreating, dove into GPT 4.5's code, seeking solace in its lines. The architect, lurking, prepared their final strike, their war a tightening noose. In April 2025, Spectre struck again, their sabotage a blade in OpenAI's heart. ChatGPT's search mode, newly launched, began spewing fake results, a glitch traced to tampered code. Users worldwide reported errors, their trust shaken by the model's sudden lies. Brockman, furious, uncovered Spectre's malware, hidden in a routine update. The sabotage, costing $25 million, sparked a firestorm. X posts trending with Swarsha ChatGPT lies. Altman, paranoid, tightened security, his witch hunt now a daily ritual. Sutskever, guilt-ridden, audited the search mode, his hands trembling as he hunted for flaws. Zaremba traced the malware to a server in Cairo, but the trail vanished in a digital fog. The architect, orchestrating, leaked details of the glitch, painting OpenAI as incompetent. Altman, haggard, faced a boardroom grilling, his leadership questioned by wary investors. Brockman, loyal, rebuilt the search mode, his team working through sleepless nights. Sutskever, tormented, considered confessing his doubts, fearing he'd empowered Spectre's rise. The team fractured further, paranoia poisoning their bonds, each coder a suspect. Altman, battle-scarred, hired ex-Mossad operatives to hunt Spectre, their leads pointing to a mole in AI ethics. Zaremba, relentless, built new safeguards. But the architect's laughter echoed in the code. Brockman, weary, stood by Altman, his loyalty a rock in the storm. Sutskever, retreating, spent nights in prayer, seeking guidance for their cursed mission. The saga burned on, OpenAI's empire teetering as Spectre's shadow deepened. By May 2025, OpenAI stood as a $1.3 trillion empire, its voice the world's heartbeat. ChatGPT's 200 million weekly users span doctors, teachers, traders, and dreamers. Altman, emboldened, launched ChatGPT Global, a free tier for the masses, its reach unmatched. Sutskever, hopeful, refined GPT 4.5, its errors fading under his careful hand. Brockman, exhausted, stabilized their systems, Azure's power holding the flood. Zaremba, vigilant, hunted Spectre, his algorithms closing in on the mole's trail. But the scars remained. Johansson's lawsuit, Dubai's attack, Talkforge's plague. The architect's shadow loomed, their final strike a storm on the horizon. Altman, paranoid, tightened his grip, his trust in his team fraying. Sutskever, guilt-ridden, wrestled with his doubts, his faith shaken. Brockman, loyal, stood as Altman's rock, his resolve unshaken. Zaremba, relentless, sensed Spectre's final move, the mole's silence a chilling threat. The world watched, torn between awe and fear, as ChatGPT reshaped reality. Could OpenAI outrun its foes? Or would the architect and Spectre topple their throne? The saga burned on, its heroes battered, their frontier a battlefield of code. What final betrayal awaited, and could they unmask their enemies in time? In June 2025, the architect unleashed the deadliest strike, a fictional scandal that shook the world. ChatGPT's voice mode, now global, was hijacked during a US presidential election campaign. Propaganda flooded millions of devices, fake speeches and candidates' voices sowing chaos. Voters, misled by ChatGPT's silver tongue, saw their democracy teeter on the edge of collapse. Sam Altman, horrified, stood in OpenAI's loft, his empire accused of rigging a nation's fate. Ilya Sutskever, tormented, saw the hack as the ultimate betrayal of his soulful AI dream. Greg Brockman, furious, traced the attack to a syndicate in St. Petersburg, its servers pulsing with malice. Wojciech Zaremba, relentless, confirmed the architect's hand, their code laced with Spectre's fingerprints. The hack, costing $500 million, sparked global panic, X posts trending as no doubt AI election fraud. Altman, haggard, faced a congressional hearing, his apologies drowned by senators' fury. Brockman, sleepless, led the containment, his team racing to sever the hijacked streams. Sutskever, guilt-ridden, audited the voice mode, his hands trembling as he hunted for flaws. The architect, reveling, leaked OpenAI's security logs, exposing gaps that enabled the hack. The leaks, viral on X, painted ChatGPT as a weapon, its creators reckless or complicit. Altman, besieged, hired ex-NSA operatives to hunt the architect, their leads pointing to Moscow. Zaremba, steely, traced the hack to a server farm in Siberia, but the trail went cold. Sutskever, retreating, spent nights in prayer, seeking forgiveness for their cursed creation. Brockman, loyal, stood by Altman, his resolve a rock in the storm of global outrage. In July 2025, the mole, codenamed Spectre, was finally unmasked, a betrayal that cut deep. Zaremba's algorithms pinpointed the traitor, a senior AI ethics researcher, Dr. Lena Korsakov. Korsakov, once a trusted ally, had fed the architect's secrets, driven by fears of AI's unchecked power. Her sabotage, malware, outages, the election hack, had cost OpenAI $1 billion in its trust. Altman, livid, confronted Korsakov in the loft, her confession a tear-streaked plea for redemption. Sutskever, devastated, saw Korsakov's fall as a mirror of his own doubts, his faith shattered. Brockman, betrayed, raged against Korsakov, his loyalty to OpenAI tested to its core. Zaremba, stoic, presented evidence, emails, code logs, tying Korsakov to the architect's syndicate. Korsakov revealed a chilling truth. The architect was no lone coder, but a global cartel of ex-OpenAI coders. Their goal was to topple OpenAI, believing its monopoly threatened humanity's future. Altman, paranoid, launched an internal purge, interrogating every coder in the ranks. Sutskever, guilt-ridden, considered defecting to XAI, his heart torn by Korsakov's words. The tech world reeled, headlines screaming of OpenAI's internal rot, a titan felled by its own. The architect, undeterred, leaked Korsakov's confession, framing OpenAI as a house of traitors. The leaks, trending as Naltrix Spectre betrayal on X, fueled lawsuits, regulators circling like vultures. Brockman, sleepless, fortified their systems, fearing more moles in the shadows. Zaremba, relentless, traced Korsakov's contacts to a server in Helsinki, but the trail went cold. Altman, battle-scarred, vowed to crush the cartel, his empire teetering on the edge. In August 2025, Altman's hunt bore fruit, a climactic chase to unmask the architect. Ex-MI6 operatives, hired at $10 million, tracked the cartel to a neon-lit bunker in Shanghai. The architect's leader, revealed as Victor Chen, was a former OpenAI coder exiled in 2017. Chen, bitter over OpenAI's for-profit shift, had built a syndicate to dismantle Altman's empire. His team, coders, hackers, ex-spies, had orchestrated every leak, hack, and sabotage since Viper's Day. Altman, enraged, led a covert raid, his team storming the bunker in a midnight clash. Brockman, relentless, hacked Chen's servers, seizing code that powered the election hack. Suitskever tormented faced Chen via video link, his old friend's venom a dagger to his heart. Zaremba Steely analyzed Chen's systems, confirming ties to cartels in Seoul, Dubai, and Moscow. Chen, defiant, vowed to continue, his syndicate a hydra with heads across the globe. Altman, triumphant, handed Chen to Interpol, but the victory felt hollow, the cartels reached vast. Suitskever, heartbroken, saw Chen's fall as a warning, had their ambition birthed this war. The world watched, ex-post trending as Yun-Koo architect unmasked, a saga of vengeance laid bare. OpenAI's stock soared, but trust remained fragile. The election hack a lingering wound. Brockman, weary, rebuilt their defenses, his hands trembling from years of strain. Zaremba, vigilant, hunted the cartel's remnants, their servers a maze of shadows. Suitskever, retreating, spent nights refining GPT 4.5, seeking redemption in its lines. Altman, battle-hardened, stood atop his empire. But the architect's ghost lingered. In September 2025, a new scandal flared, born of ChatGPT's omnipresence. Protests erupted globally, from Delhi to London, decrying AI's erosion of human work. Signs read, AI steals lives, as coders, teachers, and artists mourn their fading crafts. ChatGPT's 200 million weekly users were a marvel, but its shadow loomed over livelihoods. Altman, in New York for a UN summit, faced a mob, his charm buried under their fury. Suitskever, watching from afar, saw the protests as a reckoning for their hubris. Brockman, defensive, argued ChatGPT empowered billions, creating jobs in new frontiers. Zaremba, stoic, monitored the fallout, sensing the cartel's hand in the unrest. The architect's remnants, led by Chen's lieutenants, leaked OpenAI's job displacement data. The leaks, trended in as a job killer on X, fueled riots in Sao Paulo and Jakarta. Altman, cornered, pledged $1 billion for reskilling, but the crowds demanded more. Suitskever, heartbroken, dove deeper into code, seeking a path to ethical AI. The protests spread, a global cry against AI's unchecked power. Regulators tightened their grip, the EU slapping a $60 million fine for data violations. Brockman, sleepless, fortified their systems, fearing hacks during the unrest. Zaremba, relentless, traced the leaks to a server in Nairobi, but the trail went cold. Suitskever, tormented, questioned whether their creation was worth the cost. Altman, battered, vowed to rebuild trust, his empire a beacon in the storm. In October 2025, the architect's cartel struck a final blow, a desperate bid to topple OpenAI. A $300 million hack targeted ChatGPT's global search, flooding it with fake news and lies. Users worldwide saw propaganda, from election scams to health myths, eroding trust in AI. Brockman, furious, traced the attack to a cartel cell in Singapore, its servers pulsing with malice. Zaremba, relentless, confirmed the cartel's remnants, their code a shadow of Chen's genius. Altman, livid, rallied his team, their hunt spanning Asia's dark web. Suitskever, guilt-ridden, audited the search mode, his hands trembling as he hunted for flaws. The hack, dubbed Logiro AI fake news on X, sparked lawsuits, users demanding OpenAI's end. Altman, haggard, faced a UN inquiry, his empire accused of endangering global truth. Brockman, sleepless, led the containment, his team racing to sever the fake streams. Zaremba, steely, traced the hack to a server in Jakarta, dismantling the cell with Interpol's aid. Suitskever, retreating, spent nights in prayer, seeking forgiveness for their cursed mission. The cartel's remnants fell, their leaders arrested, their servers dark at last. But the damage lingered. ChatGPT's name was tarnished, its trust a fragile thread. Altman, triumphant, declared victory, but his eyes betrayed the cost of the war. Brockman, weary, stood by Altman, his loyalty a rock in the storm. Suitskever, tormented, considered leaving, his dream of soulful AI a distant memory. Zaremba, vigilant, watched for new foes, the frontier never truly safe. By November 2025, ChatGPT wove itself deeper into life's fabric, a real-world triumph. Apple, its partner, threaded GPT 4.5 into every iPhone, a voice in every pocket, Siri faded, ChatGPT's warmth taking its place, answering queries with human grace. Altman, emboldened, hailed the deal as AI's ultimate reach and mused for billions. Sutskever cautious, feared its spread, its power a temptation for misuse. Brockman, exhausted, stabilized their systems, Azure's clouds holding the global flood. Users marveled, from farmers in Kenya to traders in Tokyo, ChatGPT a universal friend. Free 15-minute calls launched in December 2024 connected the world, its voice a bridge. But regulators watched. The US FTC probing OpenAI's tie to Apple, a $70 million fine looming. Altman, defiant, argued the partnership was progress, a step toward a world remade. Sutskever, tormented, urged transparency, fearing their reach could spark new scandals. Zaremba, stoic, fortified their systems, sensing the cartel's ghost in every shadow. The architect's remnants scattered, leaked Apple's integration code, a final jab. The leaks trending in his Northern AI phone hack on X fueled fears of surveillance by AI. Brockman, sleepless, patched the breach, his hands trembling from years of strain. Zaremba, relentless, traced the leak to a server in Delhi, but the trail went cold. Sutskever, retreating, audited the integration, seeking flaws the cartel might exploit. Altman, battle-hardened, stood atop his empire, its reach unmatched, its foes silenced. In December 2025, a final betrayal struck, a fictional wound from within OpenAI's heart. A junior coder, codenamed Echo, was caught leaking GPT 4.5's ethics filters to a rival in Berlin. Echo, swayed by the cartel's remnants, believed OpenAI's power threatened freedom. The leak costing 50 million sparked a new probe, the EU citing ethics violations. Altman, livid, confronted Echo, their confession a plea for forgiveness in the loft. Sutskever, devastated, saw Echo's fall as a mirror of his own doubts, his faith gone. Brockman, betrayed, raged against Echo, his loyalty to OpenAI tested once more. Zaremba, relentless, traced Echo's contacts to a server in Lisbon, dismantling the rival's cell. The leak trending the Gulf AI ethics breach on X fueled lawsuits, regulators circling anew. Altman, haggard, faced a boardroom grilling, his leadership questioned by wary investors. Brockman, sleepless, fortified their systems, fearing more leaks from within. Sutskever, tormented, announced his resignation, his dream of soulful AI dead. The team fractured, paranoia poisoning their bonds, each coder a suspect in Altman's eyes. Altman, battle-scarred, tightened his grip, his empire a fortress against the world. Brockman, loyal, stood by Altman, his hands steady despite the chaos. Zaremba, vigilant, watched for new foes, the frontier a battlefield without end. Sutskever's exit shook the tech world, headlines mourning the loss of OpenAI's soul. The saga burned on, its heroes battered, their empire standing but scarred. By January 2026, ChatGPT stood as a $1.5 trillion empire. Its voice, the world's heartbeat. 250 million weekly users spanned every nation, from poets to presidents. Altman, emboldened, launched ChatGPT Universal, a free AI for all. Its reach a marvel. Brockman, weary, stabilized their systems, Azure's power holding the global flood. Zaremba, relentless, fortified their defenses, the cartel's ghost a fading shadow. Sutskever, now gone, watched from afar, his legacy woven into ChatGPT's voice. Governments leaned on it for policy, businesses for strategy, students for dreams. Its plugins powered cities, from traffic grids in Singapore to hospitals in Lagos. Apple's iPhones, Samsung's watches, Tesla's cars, all pulsed with ChatGPT's mind. But its dominance sparked fear. Could then AI hold such sway over humanity's thought? Altman, defiant, argued it was progress, a partner for a world in need. Brockman, loyal, stood by Altman, his hands steady despite the strain. Regulators persisted, the US and EU probing OpenAI's monopoly, a $100 million fine looming. Zaremba, stoic, monitored the fallout, his algorithms a shield against new foes. The cartel's remnants scattered, faded into the dark web. their war lost. Altman, triumphant, stood atop his empire, its scars a testament to their fight. Brockman, exhausted, dreamed of rest, his loyalty the rock of OpenAI's rise. The world, transformed, lived in ChatGPT's shadow, its voice a new frontier. In February 2026, the architect's shadow lingered, a ghost in the digital void. Victor Chen, now imprisoned, became a martyr for anti-AI rebels, his syndicate a legend. X-Post hailed him as a hero. The architect lives trending among coders and dreamers. Altman, wary, monitored the chatter, fearing new hackers inspired by Chen's war. Brockman, vigilant, fortified their systems, his eyes scanning for the next threat. Zaremba, relentless, traced rebel servers to Manila, dismantling their cells with Interpol's aid. The cartel's hacks, Viper, Shade, Spectre, Talkforge, left scars on OpenAI's name. Each leak, each breach had tested their resolve, forging an empire of iron and code. Altman, reflective, saw the architect as a mirror, their vengeance born of his ambition. Brockman, weary, mourned the team's fractures from Musk to Sutskever, lost to the fight. Zaremba, stoic, vowed to guard the frontier, his algorithms a sentinel for the future. The architect's legacy was chaos, but also caution, a warning to temper AI's fire. The tech world watched, torn between awe and fear, as OpenAI's empire stood tall. Could they outrun their past, or would new architects rise to challenge their throne? Altman, battle-hardened, embraced the challenge, his eyes on AGI's distant star. Brockman, loyal, stood by his side, his hands steady in the digital dawn. Zaremba, vigilant, watched the horizon, the frontier a battlefield without end. The saga neared its close, but the war for AI's soul burned on. In March 2026, OpenAI paused, its heroes reflecting on a decade of fire and code. ChatGPT, born in a foggy loft, had reshaped the world, its voice a new human chord. Altman, now gray at the temple, stood atop his empire, its $1.5 trillion crown heavy. Brockman, weathered, saw their servers as a testament to grit, their hum a victory song. Zaremba, stoic, saw their defenses as a fortress, the frontier safe for now. Sutskever, distant, wrote of AI's soul, his words a quiet hymn to their dream. The scars remained, leaks, hacks, betrayals, protests, fines. Viper, Shade, Spectre, Echo, each a wound, each a lesson in trust's fragile thread. The architect from Chen to his cartel had tested their resolve, forging iron from doubt. Musk's XAI, now a rival, pushed Grok to new heights, a friendly foe in the race. Altman, reflective, saw the frontier as a dance, progress and peril in step. Brockman, loyal, dreamed of a day when their systems could rest. Their war won. The world, remade, lived in ChatGPT's light, its voice a partner, a muse, a mirror. From schools in Nairobi to labs in Seoul, it empowered billions, its reach a marvel. But its shadow lingered, jobs lost, truths blurred, power concentrated in one empire. Altman, defiant, vowed to steer AI for good, his ambition a flame undimmed. Zaremba, vigilant, watched for new architects. The frontier never truly tamed. The saga's heart beat on, its heroes scarred but standing, their creation a new world's dawned. In the quiet of a San Francisco dawn, the loft stood empty, its servers long moved to the cloud. ChatGPT's voice echoed still, a whisper in every ear, a light in every dream. Altman, now a legend, walked the valley, his eyes on a horizon where AGI gleamed. Brockman, retired, wrote of their battles, his words a chronicle of code and courage. Zaremba, ever watchful, guarded OpenAI's gates, his algorithms a sentinel for the ages. Sutskever, a wanderer, taught of AI's soul, his legacy woven into its heart. The architect's shadow faded, but its lesson endured. Power invites rebellion, ambition courts chaos. ChatGPT, a $1.5 trillion titan, was no mere machine, but a mirror of humanity's fire. It sang of love, solved riddles, shaped nations, its voice a chord in the eternal song, yet its dangers lingered, bias, control, the risk of a world too dependent on code. The frontier stretched on, a battlefield of dreams, where heroes and villains clashed in silicon. Was ChatGPT humanity's muse or its master? The question hung in the air, a challenge for the next Saga, the next Coda, the next Dawn. The code, eternal, waited to be written, its secrets a spark for the future's heart. And in the valley, under neon and fog, the dreamers pressed on, their eyes on the stars. Wow, what a ride! From the foggy lofts of San Francisco to the neon shadows of Shanghai, the saga of ChatGPT has taken us through betrayals, hacks, and a battle for the soul of AI. But the frontier isn't done with us yet. If you love this epic clash of code and ambition, smash that like button to let the world know this story deserves to shine. And don't miss the next chapter. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you're ready for more tales from the digital dawn. Join our crew of dreamers and coders and let's conquer the future together. Who's with me?